Hi, I'm Marcus Freitas, and this is how you play a forehand topspin.
In table tennis, there is no stroke more dominant than the forehand topspin. That's why most players base their entire game on creating situations where they will be able to perform this specific stroke. The body position allows the forehand topspin to produce more power than with any other strokes. A neutral grip gives you the best advantage. The racket should be seen as an extension of your arm. The edge of your racket and the line between your index finger and thumb form a straight line, leaving only the width of a finger between your hand and the racket. In other words, tilting the racket or gripping the handle too loosely or too tightly will create a different grip. Stay 1 forearm length from the edge of the table. Make sure you are in a stable position with your feet more than shoulders width apart and your right foot slightly in front of the left. Bend your knees quite deeply and rotate your torso to the left. Your core should be low. Your left shoulder is much lower than your right one. Drop your hand and racket almost vertically down. Your hand's starting position is slightly above and beyond your left knee. Your arm is almost straight. Your grip relaxed. From a coiled position, move forward and upward. Note the roll of the right knee as it is rotating and rising, taking a lot of pressure at the initial stage of the stroke. Your hips should be going into the same direction, with your left hip leading. The same applies to your shoulders. Your forearm accelerates, decreasing the angle between fore and upper arm. The contact happens in front of the body. During the contact, your shoulders should form an equilateral triangle. The racket is facing the ball. Your wrist is closing the angle and going forward. The point of contact is just a little bit up and further from the center of the racket. After the contact, the racket continues to go forward and up, reaching the final stage 10 to 20 centimeters in front of your head. Your shoulders, hips, and legs face the table at the end of the stroke. Finally, the preparation for the next stroke starts. There are many different types of forehand spin. Form of the stroke, distance from the table, joint position, and contact with the ball depends on receiving the ball and the playing style. You cannot compete in modern table tennis without mastering the forehand topspin.
Hey, my name is Michael Mays. Let me show you how to make a backhand topspin.
The backhand topspin is getting more and more popular. The game is getting faster, and there is less time to prepare for a forehand topspin. Players who know to use a good backhand topspin have an enormous advantage. The most important differences between forehand and backhand strokes is the role of your thumb. Applying more pressure to the racket is essential for this stroke. Stand 1 forearm length from the edge of the table. The basic position is with your feet more than shoulders width apart. Your right foot is slightly in front of the left. Bend your knees quite deeply, especially the left one, and rotate your torso to the right. Your core is low. Your left shoulder is slightly forward and down, as is your elbow. Your wrist is bent to make the top of the racket tilted towards the body. Your grip is relaxed. The racket is going mostly forward, but also up and sideways to the left. Use your forearm to lead the action. The upper part of the body is playing a much bigger role in the backhand spin compared to the forehand. Less space is used to perform the stroke. More force is required from the torso and also from the wrist, because the shoulders are not contributing to the power as much as they do with the forehand topspin. The contact with the ball is solely in front of the player, and therefore much closer to the table as compared to the forehand. Your wrist is going forward and is closing the angle, producing a brushing stroke over the ball. The point of contact is just a little bit up and further away from the center of the racket. At the last stage of the movement, your left shoulder is opening and both of your shoulders should be on the same level in a square position to the table. Your hand finishes almost at the height of your head. It should be further distance from your body in comparison to the forehand.